Hello, beautiful moms and entrepreneurs. My name is Sharice Walker, and I'm your host of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. This is a place where we come together to learn, grow, and inspire. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Hello, Unbreakable Mompreneurs. My name is Sharice Walker, and today I'm here with Tabatha Thorell, and I am excited because she actually lives a similar life as I do. She has 5 kids. She does real estate investing, and she's a fitness coach, motivation, perseverance, so many different things, and persistence. And so, Tabatha, without further ado, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
Well, thank you so much, Sharice, for having me. And thank you to your listeners for, tuning in this, because if you're a mom, I know your time is so valuable. So we will try to pack some golden nuggets for you, some motivation, just inspiration. My goal in life is just really to pay it forward. So anything that inspires me or has added value to my life, I feel like I am meant to reverberate it. I'm a very verbal person, and so podcasts are great for me. But I know as the mom, the listener, you wear a lot of hats. And honestly, you don't really care about the hats that I wear because we all have these different hats, speaker, author, coach, investor, mom, wife, all of these things that are a title to me don't really matter if I've depleted who Tab is on the inside. And I know your listeners feel the exact same way. And so I just really want to dive into what can add value to them and to your listener.
I love that. Okay, so let's get into it, because I think you're one of my first real estate investor guests, because that's what I do as well, right?
Yeah.
And so let's talk about legacy wealth and what you mean by that.
So for me, the concept legacy wealth, I actually created that, not really created the term because the term's out there, right? But I labeled it on a program that my husband and I are developing, because wealth has a lot of negative connotations for the person who doesn't have it, or they think they don't have it, or we label it to that, I always just pictured wealth as like this old white guy who had, been investing in stocks, and he's like old and wealthy or whatever. And we are predetermined or wired to think the wealthy are these evil misers, right? Like these greedy people that are like consuming all the money and they're hoarding it and nobody else can have it. And that's just really the furthest from the truth. And I think as women, especially when we have babies, we have this nurturing side of us, but we still have these dreams and these ambitions, whatever that is for you. Even if you love being at home with the babies and you love taking care of them and you take pride in being a stay-at-home mom, and that is amazing. But I know the woman inside you, the little girl inside of you, even if she wanted to be a mom, there's something else. And it's okay to have that. It's okay to have that burning desire to want more, to be more, to have more. Because a term that I heard just recently was the reason why we have these desires to have more, for abundance, prosperity. If you're a believer, God put that inside of you for a reason. There is a reason for that, because in order to have more, you have to become more. And when we become more and we become better and we become more kind, more loving, more stewardess with our money, with our resources, then we gain that abundance, the things that we want, if that's like a dream home or a car or earrings or shoes or whatever. But unfortunately in our world, we just have all these predetermined words like wealthy. And then what's legacy mean? Like, to me, it's like sometimes when you say that, it's this abstract word like legacy for later, when you're old, at your funeral when you're 90. The reason why I called our program the Legacy Wealth Builders is because right now, whether your child is 1 day old or 50, you are leaving a legacy to them by the words that you say, how you act, what you do with your money, what you do with your time, what you do with your resources, all of those things. And the word wealth doesn't just mean money. Wealth of knowledge, wealth of kindness, wealth of fill in the blank. Wealth is just an abundant term that I like to use because it does have all these emotions. And when we have these emotions, we can look at them in the eye and say, why do I feel that way? We have a cap by a lot of like what we were taught when we were little of what we're worth, and we tie money to that.
Mhm.
There's a lot of money strings pulling our actions, whether we want to believe it or not, because money is the most talked about thing in the Bible. Money is the most uncomfortable subject you can bring up in a social conversation. Money is one of those things that your parents said, we don't talk about money. That's, inappropriate. That's rude. We don't ask people how much money they make. And yes, you have to have social graces when it comes to this, but why? Why does money hold all this emotion?
Mhm.
Because really, money is a tool. Money is just a resource. You have money, you trade money for something that you want, a good, a service, a product, whatever, right? Like it is just a trade. It's an exchange. And so when I created this legacy wealth project, I was like, what does this mean? For me, it's helping families, entrepreneurs, investors, even business professionals that love what they do. And they know they're calling on earth and they love it. They know, like, man, I was called to do this on earth. But I was also called to be a parent. And I love my family. I love them. I love my wife. I love my husband. I love them. But I'm over here building this income, building, providing, right? Building a legacy, what they want to leave for their family when they're gone. But what if we married it? What if we could build that legacy with the family? What if we could bring the vision of who that sole provider is? And even a lot of times it's both, the woman and the man anymore. It's not just the man, it's not just the woman. It's like they're together on this. Even if the husband or the wife is the face of the business and or the professional, that spouse comes up alongside them, right? And we want to build a strong relationship. And that's what I want to create for families is how we can instill these values, these characteristics that will withstand the money that you make for generations to come. Because statistics show by second generation, 70% of wealth is gone. By third generation, 90% of wealth that was created in first generation is gone.
Mm-hmm. So
and that's crazy to me because entrepreneurs right now, they hustle, they grind. You're in it to win it. Like you're doing, you traded your 40-hour work week for 80-hour work week. Like it's crazy, but you have this passion, you want to do it. And then guess who gets left in the dust? Not because you want to, because you feel like you have to. Right. And so how can we marry that? How can we teach our kids the hustle, the grind, bring them in on the vision? And for me, that really is like the 5-minute answer of legacy wealth. It's really combining the family so that the vision is the family vision for years to come. That doesn't mean your kids have to do exactly what you do. That doesn't mean it's a difference of like the family business, because I don't really care if my daughters do exactly what we do, but they can take the wealth characteristics and apply that to anything. Yep. And doors will open, right? Opportunities will be there. And the joy that you can get from that will be there as well.
And I love that because it is so true. And I think that my husband lost his job like it was in the summer. This will air for a while, but we had that legacy wealth. We have that income that's a passive income stream where it's covering our bills because of that. And yes, he wants to work for other reasons and there's things, and I'm doing my own thing with real estate investing and real estate period. But I think that that's the part that helped me is that you have to figure out when you want to become an entrepreneur, what is your relationship with money? I had this conversation as I was madly driving home this morning that with this gentleman, he busts his behind every single day. It's a grind, getting loans for people and getting things to work out. He's a hard money lender. And he's like, Sharice, the amount of work I do for a $200,000 loan versus an $18 million loan, it's the same amount of work. It's just I make a lot more. Why am I wasting all my time? And you know what I mean by waste, right? Why am I spending all my time with these little ones when if I do some big ones, this is how it is? And I think that that's part of people have to come to terms with their mind and where they're at with money and the relationship, and then teach their children. Like I have kids that they started 15 years old, started working. And so they've been able to hold a job and they know how to support themselves. I have other kids that are 18 now and have yet to have that job. And so because the problem is I kind of, I think, screwed him up sometimes is because I've been taking him to all these conferences. You talk about wealth of knowledge. He knows now that you don't have to settle for a $12 an hour job, that he could
Yep.
make so much more. And it's like,
Yep.
okay, but let's hone your interest into something
Yep.
where you can make money. And so that's the part that I love, that you talked about. Wealth is not just about money, and
Right.
that there's so many different things. And so I appreciate you sharing that. That's great.
Well, and to go off of what you said with your son, so like my daughters, like I have a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old.
Right.
And my 13-year-old this summer, I was teaching her some skill sets. And she goes, well, Mom, if I was working for somebody else, like how much would I make? And I said, well, here's the thing, hun. Your skill set is down here. And so you work for free for people because you want to gain that skill set. And then you might find somebody at like a really low paying, $6 an hour, $10 an hour, or you offer to, hey, I'll do your videos for, X amount, and you build that up. And my 15-year-old daughter, she's doing some labor intensive work because my husband's a farmer. So she's been out there, she's been helping him lay pipes, she's been doing weeds, and she hates it. But guess what? She's learning what she doesn't like. And I tell her, I say, labor intensive work is like the bottom. That's the implementation level. When you look at it through scripture, if you guys anybody watch Myron Golden on here, like he talks about this, implementation is the bottom level. And so I want to teach my kids the implementation level. Even when Myron talks about it, it's not to skip to the imagination level, which is the highest level where everything, opens up. You don't just go from nothing to imagination, but you can create imagination while you're implementing and doing those things in the beginning that are teaching you, that are building you. They're building your character, they're building your integrity, your follow through, even when you don't want to do it. Do you think my daughter wants to whack weeds when it's 100 degrees out? No, she's a 15-year-old teenage girl and she is not a tomboy. Right. She wants to be doing something else, but she's earning money for a car. So she knows what those things are. So then I said, next year, I said, okay, so are you going to get your lifeguard certification so you can go and be a lifeguard instead of whacking weeds for daddy? And she's like, yes, I am going to do that. But then she also has to know that the pay is different. So doing one thing over here is going to be different than over here. And so you teach your kids, and this is what I'm talking about, legacy. You can't just, because I know entrepreneurs, we all go to the conferences and we learn these things and we're like, your skill sets and your values worth this amount of money. And you could go on, YouTube and do this. We still have to teach our kids, but this is the level. This is the bottom level. Jesus washed the disciples' feet. So you have to teach your kids implementation. But then you also teach them, but this is why we want to go to the next level, right? And so we go to utilization and communication and imagination, and we do these things and we teach them along the way as we are doing them. My husband, implementation level for most of his career, and now it's like we're doing utilization and communication and imagination, and we're implementing those things. It's not like you're here and have arrived and like I'm just going to jump here. You have to stair step. And I believe what really builds character and why we were created is for work. But that doesn't just mean manual labor.
Exactly.
That means doing the different things. And that's the whole concept of legacy wealth. And they don't teach that in schools. They don't teach that in church. They don't teach that anywhere. And as parents, we have to teach them these things and grow with them and ourselves. But a lot of times it's a belief. And so we have to work on ourselves harder and model that so that they want to come into that.
And yes, it's the progression, because you have people, I don't know what it is with kids these days, where they are going to graduate high school and they think they deserve $25 an hour. And I said, okay, what do you have to offer?
Exactly. Right.
Because, and I love that you brought in Myron Goldman, because I'm very, very familiar with him. And the fact that he started as a garbage truck driver and now he charges hundreds of thousands of dollars for an hour of his time, right? Or tens of thousands of dollars. And so I think that that's the progression, is he was willing to put in the work, and he did put in the work a long time ago, and he has grown because of that. And so it does take time. You do have to be able to learn how to punch a clock and make sure that, first of all, you can be there on time and you can be dependable. These are the little things that you have to learn how to do. And like you said, I don't like to do this, but you do anyway. So you
have respect. They learn respect for that specific job. Like my husband's a farmer. When I was a kid, I had to go detassel, which if you guys don't know any about the farming community, it's just horrible. You wake up at like 5:30, it's like the corn's wet because it's dewy and you have to like go. And I am not like a farm girl, like at all. My husband's a farmer. I'm just a farmer's wife. I'm not a farm wife. Like I don't like any of it. And I remember my clothes were wet and I was itchy and then it becomes really hot and humid. And I'm like, I hate this. Like I am never coming back. And so I pivoted. I went and I cleaned houses for older people because I preferred that, and it was a different type of implementation, but I respect my husband and people who do that work. And I'm like, you definitely are not paid for the ickiness that you makes you feel. But, just having that respect factor, my kids, I'm like, I want you to have a respect for all of these, when we see a janitor at a big conference center, I'm like, thank you for cleaning the bathrooms. Like, yes, and Myron talks about this, and it's the value that you create. And so it's like, they're never going to make $300 an hour cleaning a bathroom unless you're the owner of the cleaning company. I mean, that's just what it is. And you have to learn those things too. And you teach your kids that. Like with my daughter, she's learning a skill set, but I'm constantly like, but eventually you're going to have people working under you and you have to learn how to be a CEO. So you have to learn how to delegate. You have to learn these things. And I'm just dropping little nuggets, guys. Like, kids, they listen, but you got to tell them over and over. How many times do the socks lay on the floor and you tell them to pick them up? Like every day, the socks have to go in the, laundry basket. I don't know what it is, but like you have to tell them every day. So you're not dropping, like these big things. Yeah. The lectures are going to go in one, out the other. Right. And like with my girls, can you please listen to a personal development group? And they're like, but mom, we like this summer romance better. I'm not going to take the summer book away from them. Right. But I'm going to continue to say, but this book is really good. I might lay it out. I might put it on Audible, put it on their phone, do those things. Eventually they're going to listen. They are like, raise up a child how they should go and they will come back to you. Same goes for financial principles. You cannot harp on them about money, but then give them everything that they ask for. Well, mom, I need this for school. Okay, that's great, but you chose to do that activity. I will go halvesies on you because I'm your mom and I support what you're doing, but I'm not the ATM here. Like, I give you clothes and food and a house and opportunities. Though that's my job. I'm here to give you wisdom and love and comfort. Like, that's my identity as a mom. I'm not your maid. I'm not your bank. I'm not your even chauffeur. Like, my daughters know if you need a ride somewhere and you don't give me ample time, I'm not going to drop everything and you might miss something. But that's where communication comes in, right? So we're teaching them those things in those little tiny moments when it's hard. Do you think it's hard for me to tell my daughters no when I can financially pay for something for them that I know that they need for an activity that I support? It's really hard because I just want to give it to them. As parents, we want to give our kids the world. Of course we do. And I struggled growing up. We didn't have extras. I couldn't do activities because we didn't have the money. There was no halvesies. Even if I made the money, I don't even know that I could do it because we couldn't get there, the gas to get there, those type of things. Like, there was no it was just no. There was no discussion. So like with my girls, we talk about this. How can we help? How can we serve this? What fundraisers can you do? Can you find sponsorships? Other kids don't have to do that, mom. I know. And I can see their future in about 15, 20 years unless something's changed. And that's not me being judgy. That's literally just watching the world. Like looking at people and saying things that were given to everybody who didn't have to earn it, learn it, or, repurpose it. Like, they are struggling now. And I want better for my kids. It's kind of like giving your kids McDonald's every day. I mean, no sane parent is going to give your kid McDonald's every day. But when they're little, what do they want? Or fast food, whatever. Pick your fast food. Doesn't matter, right? Like, or candy. They want candy every single day, all day, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're never going to do that. But for whatever reason in our world today, I want brand new Under Armour full-on outfit, Lululemon. I want Nike for every day of the week. I want every color of the rainbow. Okay.
Yeah.
In
But there
what
are
world?
parents that they're doing that because
Yes.
they don't want to
It's,
be burdened. They
I,
don't want to say no. And because of that, we are raising a generation. Like very rarely do you hear parents like you who are putting those parameters. They're actually afraid to say no to their child. Like,
yeah.
so I have some values that differ from other people and especially the listeners, but um, I have a family member that is choosing to live a lifestyle and the mother of this son and it basically says, look, if this is going to happen every time I come, I expect my girlfriend to come too because we're living together and that's just the way it is. And the mom has very different values of that, like you get married and then you know.
Yep.
And so instead of saying no, I don't support that because you haven't made that commitment, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, all right. And it's just
Right.
like, what are you teaching your child? Like that it's okay. So no longer do you
Right.
have these beliefs, no longer do you have this line. And again, don't judge, don't get upset and turn off the podcast. The point is that
Right.
whatever your line is and your boundaries, like you've set those boundaries for your daughters. And so if they come to you in an emergency, hey, I forgot about this party, take me, and you say no, I'm not going to, or that's great, find your own way, you're trying to teach them something. And
Right.
rarely do we as parents, we don't do that as much anymore. And I
Right.
love that, like what you're saying is so important.
Well, and I think as moms, like I'm
Mhm.
just cutting everybody a little bit of slack here. I get it. We have the conflict inside of us
Yeah.
because we're all keeping up with the Joneses these days. Everything's on social media. Everybody has everything. We're instant cart, right? Like everything's like directly to us, and we're a consumable world.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if I want those Nike, and here's the thing, I want you guys to hear this too. I'm not saying you can't have Nikes of every color. Like,
Right.
awesome. If my daughters want that, I'm like, great. So
Mm-hmm.
each pair of Nikes that you want are about $80. Okay. So you want 5 pairs, right? So we do the math. And then what can we do to get that money? So
Right.
what can we learn and what can we work? Oh,
Yeah.
mom, but I don't like that. It's hard. It is hard. It is hard because, but when you get that and you get to wear those shoes, you know how much more that
Right.
those are worth and what you learned along the way. But
Mm-hmm.
when we're just giving our kids everything and anything, and I think every generation has it where they're like, well, this generation, they just want this, right? Like, oh, they just have everything. And yes, we are a very consumable nation. But this is where the principle of legacy wealth is what I'm talking about because it's the characteristics behind it, guys. Because I don't care. Like, I never grew up with luxury things. So it's hard for me to buy luxury things.
Right.
But guess what? Secretly, I want the luxury things because I am God's princess and I want nice sheets and I want to go to a hotel and not worry about bed bugs and I want to be pampered and I want my nails done and I want all those things, guys. This is not a judgment of like, and I want my kids to be, I would love them. I love Lululemon pants. They're so soft. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
love them. I love the quality. Kendra Scott, like, I love what she's about and I love to support her. But does that mean that my daughter, my 9-year-old daughter, needs a $70 necklace on her neck when she goes out for recess and tumbles and plays? No, it doesn't. But if she wants to earn that and she wants to wear it, with pride, like I earned this thing or I got it for my birthday and it was special, that's the difference. Because the way that you respect things and the way that you respect people, that is character building. And I always tell my girls, we want to build a house in the country, our dream house. I've been dreaming of this house for over 20 years. And anytime my girls will bring it up, like when I get my dream room and I'm like, wait a second, is your room clean right now? Wait a second, the dream kitchen that we want, are these floors clean right now? Because how we respect what we are given right now will be amplified and prosperous in the future. And that's what I want to teach them. Like, if you can do a lot with a little, then you're going to do massive amounts with a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the real estate space and we've renovated so many homes, right? And I always tell people it's easy to renovate a home when you have an unlimited budget.
Right.
Like, it's easy. Like, give me an unlimited budget, right?
And
But give
hire
me
every contractor.
and hire every contract and just free
Yeah.
flow it, right? Give me a budget of $10,000 and say go, and you have to furnish and refurbish and all this, oh my goodness, like the wheels are cranking, and sometimes anxiety goes a little bit, but you're creative. You figure out a way. You go to Goodwill, you go to flea markets, you find stuff, you clean stuff, you paint stuff instead of tear it down, like you're doing those things.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next house, oh, the budget's a little bit broader and you can do more things and you're more creative and and it's the same with kids. Give them a little bit of a budget. And I know budget's like this, we don't want budget. And I don't like to use the word budget or savings.
Yeah.
Not because it's not important, but because I think people have a misinterpretation of it. And here's what I mean by this. I would rather invest in something that's appreciating than go put my money in a savings account. And we teach our kids this. So we always get this question because we're also lenders. And so like when we get lines of credit for people, when we get credit and we give it out, like they always ask you like, how much do you have in your savings account? And honestly, I couldn't even tell you. It's probably a couple $100. But we have investments that literally we could liquidate. I mean, yes, real estate market, it's always kind of crazy, but I'm not scared of like the world ending and I need all this cash. Right. And I think people live in that fear of like, I have to have 6 months in case my husband does this, because guess what? I'm an entrepreneur. I have developed my mind for over 16 years. I know how to go and create money. I know how to go and help somebody with a deal and then liquidate some money. I have to trust my abilities of that time. That's what I want to teach my kids, not just like because I feel like it's a hoarding mentality. We get like this hoarding, and there's a parable in the Bible that talks about this where God gives them, it's the parable of the talents, and he gives them one and then gives somebody 5 and then gives someone 10, and the person with the one like hoards it and like buries it and is like, okay, keep it safe, but I didn't do anything with it. And guess what? That person perishes like nothing. Not only do they get their money, talents, whatever you want to interpret that, away from them, and it's given to the people who actually do something with them, but they're like thrown in the pits of hell. Like it's not good for them. It's like, so when you have a talent, when your kid has a talent, a gift, women, I'm talking to you because you have a talent right now and you're hiding it. Because either the world told you it was wrong to have that, or you were ridiculed for that. There's fear behind it. What if I fail? What if I'm embarrassed? What if I lose my loved ones? What if I lose my status at PTA because I'm driving a Lexus now instead of a Honda? Like they're going to think I'm this, money hungry, whatever. Like we have a gift inside of us. We have a talent. We can create. That's what makes us great because of our mind. And that's what I want to teach my girls. Like when you invest in your mind, I spend thousands of dollars every year on investing in my mind purposely, because I know that if the world crashes, like right now, they say the world's crazy. I'm like, I'm not scared of this.
Right.
I know how to go create finances. I know how to create value for people. This isn't just like the snake oil salesman that I can just go sell anything. I know how to create value for people because I've been doing it. And so I find the suffering, I find the problem, and I can make the solution. And that's what excuse me, that's what we want to, teach our kids. And that's that's where the value really lies.
And that is the part that when you open up mind, and that's why my 18-year-old son now, because he does have a hard time going and doing the $12 an hour job, which he will do, but he now sees that there's a brighter future and that he doesn't.
And that's great. I mean, I'd way rather see that.
Right.
But then also, okay, but until you get that vision of the $200 an hour, $2,000 an hour, keep that vision. Keep the vision.
Make money now.
Alongside of it, that is funding your dream. That's what I tell, like with my husband farming, because it's very rigorous and it's very hard on his body. And I'm like, but it's funding our dream. And eventually that's going to fade out. Right. But our dream's going to come here. But we couldn't just give all that up. He had to use his skill set and his knowledge to do that. And then we're building that, but that vision of that dream, and ours is a family vision and a family dream. And it shifts and it changes, but like the premise of it is always there.
No, I love that. Okay, so 3 things that you think all entrepreneurs need to know.
Vision. First of all, I mean, I just covered that right there, but you have to have a vision. And again, it's going to change. It's going to, ebbs and flows of life, but like your vision, I've always had a vision for our family. Like one of the reasons why I got started in like a direct sales and like fitness coaching was because I wanted to bring my husband home more. So we had more time together. We want to build our dream house. We want to travel. We want to be able to do great charity works with our girls. Our girls love kids. So we've always had this vision, right? And it changes, but that vision's always there. So number one, vision. And I know people, that's kind of thing. Oh, you have a vision. No, like literally it's in the Bible, without vision, you will perish. You have to have a vision and tether yourself to that vision. Your husband might not see it yet, ladies. Like your husband may not see it yet, but that's okay. Like keep that close to you and let him in on it. But if he starts to ridicule, then you hide it. Like you hold tight to that vision and you don't back down. Don't let anybody tell you differently. It's inside of you for a reason. Okay, so you have to have vision. And then two, you have to have a plan of execution for that vision. Again, this might change. You have to be open-minded, changing your belief, your worthiness. That changes the plan of action. You have to go out there. A lot of times that's like having a mentorship, a group coaching, a one-on-one coach, something that you can tether to take that action toward the vision constantly, every day, just a little bit, 20 minutes, 2 hours, whatever you can fit into that, but like taking action on that. And then the third one, most people don't talk about this, but I think it's super, super important, is forgiveness. Along your journey, wherever you're at, if you're starting a business, if you're in the middle and the muck and like, I get it, like it's really tight. Or if you're at the top and you're trying to reach another level, you have to learn how to first forgive others. Other people are going to disappoint you. And like, as your business grows, more disappointment, like more frustration, even like Mark Zuckerberg's going to make you mad with Facebook ads, or, Google's going to make you mad with YouTube ad. Like somebody's going to make you mad. Your virtual assistant isn't going to do something that you thought, your partner, whatever. You have to learn to forgive them and like, let it go and take ownership as the business owner, like wherever you're at. That is number one. But you have to forgive yourself.
So true. When
I go to bed at night, I am so hard on myself. I know all the women you're so hard on yourself. Mm-hmm. You're like, I ate those chips and oh my gosh, I can't fit in my jeans. And oh my gosh, I didn't do those calls. And oh, I was going to listen to that thing and I bought that course and I haven't even opened it up. And oh my gosh, my husband's going to kill me because I was like this. And oh my goodness, my kids. And I yelled at him. I lost my temper. I didn't show up. I didn't. We will say that. Mm-hmm. Okay. You have to stop. And I tell myself, Tab, you did the best that you could today. Thank you, God, for another chance. Thank you for this day. Thank you for the struggle. I forgive myself and I will move on in tomorrow. And I always ask God for guidance and I always ask him for support because I can't do it alone. Whatever your belief system, you have to have something else you can tether to, because you're never going to be strong enough. You're never going to be pretty enough. You're never going to be skinny enough. You're never going to have enough money. You're never going to be kind enough. You're always going to have something that you compare it to. And here's the thing, that's okay. It's okay that you want to better yourself, but it's not okay if you ridicule and grind yourself for not being that person yet, because you aren't equipped yet. Every day I'm like, okay, that was ugly. Like that wasn't my best self. Like, ugh, and I've almost learned to laugh it off and say it out loud because that brings light to it. And then I forgive. And I have a good cry, like at least twice a month, where I'm like in the country walking. It's an ugly cry. Like nobody's around. I'm like, crying and I'm like, saying all this stuff and I'm mad and because I'm passionate and I'm saying those things. And then it's like, I get this piece of like, but I get another day. Yep. And you get another day and it's a gift. And so when you can do those three things, when you have vision and you have action and you have forgiveness, there ain't a woman on this planet that can stop. Like you can't stop a woman with those three things. I truly believe it. And you just arm yourself with other women that just like empower you. Like I just got goosebumps because I feel this like revolution of women when you do those things and you do not stay small and you're big. I don't care if you're an introvert, you can still be big and be an introvert because your introvertness is what the extroverts need. So we need all of you. We need everybody.
That's great. That's so good. Well, my listeners, how do they find you?
I'm on Instagram and Facebook. I have keeplegacywealth.com, tabthorell.com. But yeah, hit me up, DM me. I always tell people like Facebook message me. I, as of now, still respond to all of my messages personally. And if you are somebody who's like, I want to teach my kids these things, I want to be better, I want us to be a better family, and just like unite that, then, like do keeplegacywealth.com. We're building the email list of like how the program's going to launch, what the program's going to look like, building the community, because I really want it to be a community sense. I don't really want it to be this course, like something else you got to learn, because like that's not good. I want connections with people, and building this community of legacy wealth builders. Like we are changing what that word means. Like we are going out, and it's not, we're changing that negative connotation. Like wealth is for everybody that is determined to take that action and go forward with the families and changing those generations.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on. You have struck a passion for me, because I'm the exact same. It's all about families, and especially in our day and time when, in my opinion, Satan is attacking the family unit, and he's attacking our world. And that is a huge proponent, because if we had more strong families and family unity, we'd have more values, and we'd have so many different things. And so because of that, I know, totally different podcast for another day, but I just love that you talk about that, and that's your mission. So I wish you the best. And mothers, Tabatha had so many different things to unpack that she talked about in the very beginning, that she was going to give you a lot of golden nuggets. And it really is finding your passion and making sure that you have that purpose and believing in your vision, because they talk about, if you, and many studies have been done, if you blindfold a person and you tell them to walk a straight line, they're going to go in a circle. You have to have a vision, and you have to be looking where you're going. So go out and make it a great day, change the world, and I will see you on the next podcast. See you later. Beautiful moms, remember, you are unbreakable. Keep illuminating the world with your strength, pursuing your dreams, and reveling in the splendor of motherhood. This is Sharice Walker, bidding you farewell for now. Stay tuned for more empowering conversations on the next episode of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. Until then, keep shining bright. Signing off with love, Sharice Walker.